Hello, Apollo. Where shall I begin? So Claudio Kilgannon comes home to a dark house that smells of gasoline. He slips on a pool of blood that comes from Josephine's body. When he falls into Josephine's body as he touches her, it brings her back from the dead. Josephine tries to tell Claudio what has happened to her, but only gets to about the part where the Jersey City Devils attack her before a priest sneaks up behind Claudio. Josephine tells him to run and also cries out, "My dear Claudio, you'll make it if you believe." And that is a line from the song Everything Evil. Claudio turns just in time to see the priest attack. Claudio defends himself with the hammer that killed Josephine. The priest says he's here for Claudio's blood, and he's also calling Claudio the Crowning. One swing of a hammer is not enough to finish off the priest, and the priest lunges for Claudio again. Claudio is knocked back. Through the house, he becomes invisible and intangible. Claudio has superpowers. He can bring people from the dead. He can turn invisible and intangible. Pretty cool things. This is the first time it has ever happened to him. And he doesn't actually realize that he brought Josephine back from the dead. He just thinks that she was dying, lying in a pool of her own blood. Meanwhile, at the spaceport, okay, so I find it really funny that like everything has these crazy go-nut names, and then it's just like the spaceport, like the airport. It's just a municipality. The Gloria Velvesa. This ship is named. The only reason the ship is named is because it's a lyric in a song. It's in June Song Provision. I don't feel like it's really important to tie it into the story, as this is the only ship that gets named. The line in June Song Provision was just more of like a, just kind of a line that led to another. It was a put-in line, and I feel like there's no reason for it to be here. But the ship is named the Gloria Velvesa. So General Mayo gets told that Captain Norris and Captain Larry are taking Coheed and Cambria to Paris, Earth. Nearby the spaceport, Patrick, you remember, Josephine's fiance, last seen running away from the scene of her murder. Yeah, you remember him? So Patrick decides that he needs to go buy a gun, and so he goes to a shady bar that apparently is nearby the spaceport, which is convenient for locations. It's suggested that this used to be one of his old haunts. And so like, I run into a problem here because I feel like it would make a lot more sense, because it's hinted at that Patrick has like kind of a dark, seedy past. And it would have made a lot more sense if like Patrick was a member of the Jersey City Devils and Josephine made him leave the group, like, and kind of cleaned up his act to be with Josephine. And so like the Jersey City Devils were like taking revenge, and that would have made a lot more sense in continuity and given Josephine's story a lot more to it. But no, nah. It's implied heavily through the graphic novel that Wilhelm Rein has spies everywhere. You see like shadowy men observing the Kilgannon house in the first comic, and then there's like a scene where a man is outside of Mariah's house and tells Wilhelm Rein what happened there, which holds a lot of weight because there's a priest here, and like Coheed and Cambria aren't even off-world yet, and a priest walks into the bar and kills everyone. Patrick runs away and is fine, just as Patrick kind of runs away from everything in his life. We return to Del Aruth 9, the home of Maria and Torella. Okay, so like in last episode, they were really like kind of building up for this big reveal about who Mariah was. And then in this chapter, they just say her name, like in an intro. There's no reveal at all. And it's feels really disappointing. And yes, that Mariah as Dear Mariah from the song Godson Conspirator. The Prize come and ask for Mariah's help. The Prize with the headband, her name is Paranoia. Mariah is grumpy because the Prize did not help the humans during the Mage Wars. It seems that the Prize want Mariah's help not to interfere in God's work. And then Paranoia senses Inferno, who walks out from behind a curtain and yells at the Prize for not helping humans during the Mage Wars. And then drops like a PowerPoint, just like drops a PowerPoint presentation. It's just like they're feeding people's souls into the keywork. And that's how they're generating more power, is by feeding souls into the keywork, and how this is a very important thing and this needs to be stopped. And this is what Wilhelm Ryan is doing. And the Prize need to help them like defeat Wilhelm Ryan. That's why it's called Heaven's Fence, because it is their heaven. Like, your soul goes into the keywork when you die. Now, it's kind of not explicitly said that if regular people's souls go into keywork or only those fed into the keywork. But it seems like what Wilhelm Ryan is doing is feeding people's souls directly into the keywork and creating more suffering and creating more power instead of letting it naturally happen. Mariah says, yeah, we can deal with your pet project of suffering souls later. And Inferno explains that Wilhelm Ryan is going to separate Sector 12 from Heaven's Fence, using that information to try to get the Prize to fight with them against Wilhelm Ryan. It seems like the Prize were neutral in the Mage Wars, saying like it has nothing to do with God's design or attacks on Heaven's Fence, so it's fine. But now they're stating that Wilhelm Ryan is trying to destroy Heaven's Fence, the thing that they are meant to protect. Meanwhile, Coheed is in a medicated coma. He dreams of a surgical lab, and he sees his memories of Josephine. Coheed realized that Josephine was the antidote to the Monstar virus, not a mutation, and he was tricked into killing his own children. He fights stasis and awakes in Chapter 3.
Left Coast Rural Corps supports public libraries. If you haven't stopped by your public library in a while, I highly recommend it. I use library equipment constantly in my project. Many libraries have so much to offer, and many offer equipment rentals, classes, and more. Public libraries, it's so much more than books.
Also, there are books there!
The song that covers this chapter of the graphic novel is Everything Evil. This song has one of my favorite slow intros. So you have this steady drum beat, this and then like after a couple of measures of that, this squeaky door hinge opens and it is a part of the song, and it opens up the song right into the opening line of "Wait for everything evil in you comes out." That steady drum beat is like a heartbeat that moves the song forward through most of it before it turns into a ballad later on. Eventually, I think that's the kick drum. I've learned more about music trying to do this video than I have doing anything else, and I once had to take a music theory class in college. So, I think it's the kick drum that does that dun dun dun. So the bass guitar eventually joins that, and that steady drum beat like really pushes the song along. The lyrics, to me, invoke a investigation of detectives looking at a crime scene and trying to piece together what happened. Things like, "Sergeant, make for the table in hopes that I won't be afraid again." And also, "I will stage a reenactment in a false pretense, exist, inflict." And then you have the pre-chorus. Also, I would really like to shout out to Lyrics Genius for naming all the different parts of the songs, because in a Coheed song, there is pre-choruses and post-choruses and bridges and all sorts of different things. And I really appreciate that Lyrics Genius kind of titles them, or else I'd be very lost. And so we have the pre-chorus. Evolve, monster, show to me the things I never wanted done. Evolve, monster, do to me the things I never wanted done. Also, that's another lyric that I always misheard. I always heard it as evil monster, not evolve monster. So, and then the chorus. I felt much better than this before. And then that second verse hits us with probably one of my favorite lyrics. Blood hungry, cannibalistic, unfit family ties. I love that line. It is so evocative. It is the kind of line that doesn't make any sense outside of poetry or song lyrics, but it means, well, I guess she never really had a chance. Look at her family. Another line that supports my detective theory is, Inspected Inspector, I think we've found something over here. And then we do the chorus again. And then after this chorus, that's where the song takes a turn. And then in the post-chorus, so the music changes, that steady, that dun 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 is gone and is replaced with a different type of music. Oh, also, I forgot to mention this in the I felt much better than this before. There's this beautiful little guitar riff, this, and it's so good. And it just makes that, because he is doing the sustained I, and then and it allows it to have, instead of doing the vibrato in the voice, so instead of going I, it does it in the guitar, and it works so well together. And then we have the post-chorus. So, Jesse, just come look at what your brother did. Here he did away with me. And I always imagined that to be Josephine in the fence, in the key work, in Heaven's Fence, finally telling Inferno what happened to her and her story. No idea if that's what they meant or not. This lyric is also repeated in a different song off of the album Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4, Volume 1, From Fear Through the Eyes of Madness, on the song The Willing Well 3, The Telling Truth. That's a lot of words. Yeah, some of the lyrics and the titles can get pretty wordy. Then the bridge comes of stay until Wednesday and write me a childlike letter pretending. At war here on Thursday, let's make this our last day at home by the fence. Oh, also the lyric at war here in Thursday is a reference to the band Thursday and their album At War All the Time. Thursday is credited with starting the emo movement in New Jersey in the late 90s. It really took off after 9/11 when kind of everyone was feeling super depressed at the same time. But that's where Coheed and Cambria cut their teeth. They were playing shows with Thursday and eventually My Chemical Romance and Senseless Fail, which all started in the New Jersey emo scene at the same time. I found a really cool article about it, and I'm going to go ahead and link it in the description, where they talk about the formation of emo and the emo scene, and in case you want to read it. Ending the song out is, and she screamed, Claudia, oh, dear Claudia, oh, I wish, God damn it, we'll make it if you believe. And this is referring to the scene where Josephine is telling Claudio as the power is fading out and she is dying. I will make it if you believe. So I always wondered what it would feel like to hear that song played live. because Claudio is just singing his own name. And I got that chance at the most recent concert that I went to. And it's not as awkward as you think it would be. I think it was only awkward because I was listening to it and trying to hear it and see what it felt like to have Claudio sing his own name. But it really wasn't that awkward. And I think if you weren't paying attention, you would just kind of not notice it. So there it is. Everything Evil and chapter 3 of the graphic novel. So we only have one more chapter left of this volume of the second stage Turbine Blade. And before we close out, let's check those liner notes. So we have characters: Claudio Kilgannon, child of Coheed and Cambria, the son of 3, the crowning, has undefined powers. Mariah Antarella, leader of the rebellion, lives on Del Aruth 9. Paranoia, leader of the prize. Concepts, the Gloria Vel Vessa, a ship that is taking Coheed and Cambria to Paris, Earth. So we have almost all the characters and everybody all set up and ready to go. And we're just waiting for this plot to unfold. So, if you made it all the way through, why don't you give this video a like, comment something, I don't know what you had for breakfast this morning, whatever, and share it to your friends who like Coheed and Cambria. You know, be like, look, in 2005 when I was trying to explain this to you, you didn't understand, and now there's a video about it. So watch it. So thank you for watching. Goodbye, Chewbacca. I'm burning the Death Star.